We're gonna be rebuilding this tank today. I felt like we need to rebuild some more tanks, so that's what we're gonna do. This one looks in pretty bad shape. I mean, I've never seen one missing so many track parts, and we have, but I mean, as many as it's missing. It's like, why is it missing the pedals? It's missing a lot of things. Because I looked at it off camera, like on the inside, because that's a pain in the butt sometimes to get the camera to get in there. But when I looked, I mean, it was pretty damaged. There's no pedals. The seats we're gonna have to send off to repairs. The main turret looks pretty damaged as well. I mean, it's got rust pretty thick, and then we're gonna have to knock all the rust off, knock everything else off. Alright, so now all we gotta do is get the rest of this old paint and rust off everything we can. I mean, it's going pretty good. Then we'll sandblast it and primer. Then we'll put paint on it. But I mean, the main hull itself is in pretty good shape. I didn't think it'd be as intact as it was. I was expecting it to not have anything really, but you never know on some of these, because this one I thought would be more stripped on the inside. You know, I mean, we're missing some parts here and there, but on the inside, but we're not missing as much as I was expecting. I was expecting to have the interior parts, but sometimes it just goes to show you can never tell what you're gonna find on the inside. We got most of the sand blasted. We're still missing a few parts here and there that I forgot to rust remove, but for the most part, the hull has been sandblasted. Turret, I believe, needs to be sandblasted. We'll work on the outside, then we'll work on the inside. I figured some components, like the motor, I'm not gonna crawl down and start, rust removing all that when I don't have to. I think what we'll do, because it'll be easiest on me to do at this time, is work on the outside, get all the outside done, sandblasted, primer painted, all that, then work on the inside, because the interior is gonna take us not that long, I do not believe, for this tank, but I know some other ones that are lengthy. I don't think this one would be that bad. Could be wrong, but I don't think it's gonna be that bad. Alright, so we got the main hull, the turret, and all that. And primer, we forgot some stuff. As to be expected. But the main thing we forgot is to take the turret off and get the motor out. But I think we'll get everything in paint, then we'll start taking this stuff apart. That'll be the easiest, I think. Alright, so we're gonna sandblast it. There's most of the stuff we missed. I know there's a few things on here that we'll have to pull off to manually send out to get repairs, but other than that, it's not gonna be too bad. Like I said, this is the most stuff right here that we missed. Start to get sandblasted, then pretty soon it'll be all in primer, which would be nice, and then once it's in primer, then we'll start painting this thing. Because that's the goal, is just to get the painting done pretty much on the hull and everything else that's here. So that way we don't gotta spend all the time to get it all done. Let's just get it done, right? Then we'll be at the end, oh, we're gonna paint this, paint that, paint this, paint that. Everything will just be painted. Ain't gotta worry about it. That would be the best part. single tank company. It's a lot of work. But it's starting to look pretty good though. Alright, we're just about to put some primer on the rest of the stuff we missed. Everything else on the back has primer now. Basically about the only thing that needs primer is this side. It's track assembly. That has primer. Then we can start applying some paint. I think it's gonna look pretty good once we start putting some paint down. Then we'll tear it apart. And the motor looks like, I took a peek in there, the motor doesn't look too bad. I mean, it looks bad, but it doesn't look like we're missing that many parts off it. Maybe a few here and there, but not too many. Which is pretty good. But the main thing is everything's pretty much in primer, ready to go to paint. Once the paint starts getting put down, we'll tear the turret off so we can get inside easier. Fix everything inside the turret, and then fix the motor, all that. Everything will be pretty good once we get all that fixed. Man, I can't wait to hear this motor run though. Okay, so we got the main hull pretty much painted. Got all the track parts that are still here painted. And then we got a few things like, you know, the turret and all the rest, paint. Everything else besides that is going pretty good. All we gotta do is, you know, once we get it painted, then pull the turret off, pull the motor out. Repair it. I know I keep saying it, but that's what we gotta do. I believe we'll be able to get the turret off here in just a few minutes once I get some paint on it, and then we'll take it all apart so we can get to the inside and get all this inside stuff prepared. Hopefully that doesn't take too long. Alright, so we got a few things that can turn it. And then just the driver's ledge. And a few here, like odds and ends. Like a bunch of stuff on the other side for the tracks and stuff. Once all that's painted, then the main hole is pretty much painted at that point. Excluding the stuff on the inside. What's supposed to be outside, like any tow ropes, stuff like that, has to be 100% out for repairs. But other than that, everything else is pretty much ready to go. I think it looks pretty good when the paint out. But, you know, that's just my opinion, but I kind of like this color. Reminds me of a battleship period. Reminds me of. But all we gotta do once we get the turret, which will be coming off here in a few minutes. Once that gets off, then we can get inside and look at all the inside stuff. There's not much. Probably gonna be left on the inside, so we'll have to repair what we can, pull out what we have to, outsource the repair. But other than that, it'll be pretty good. Alright, so the turret's off now. We just gotta yank the motor. And then that'll be about the only thing left to pull out. Besides anything on the inside, which did not get repaired when we originally did the hull, which sometimes happens. Some stuff inside will always repair, and sometimes not. I don't know what else. This looks like a lot of work. But it's pretty easy. I think we'll have it together in no time. It's just gonna obviously take a while for the outside repairs to get done. Stuff to get back to us. Once it does get repaired, to get back to us and then installed. Shouldn't take too long. I can't remember how long it takes for that stuff to get repaired. It shouldn't take too long. I mean, sometimes it's like 22 minutes, sometimes it can be longer, it can be an hour up for some parts. finish sandblasting, but I think those left and right levers are gonna have to come out, because I don't think we can repair those this way. I know we can, like, boxes and stuff like that on the inside, like engine covers and stuff like that. I know we can do that, but other than that, I don't think we can. Looks like we might be missing a hatch. We're missing some things, but that's okay. We can repair it though. But after we get like all the hatches and all that back into place, it'll be pretty good. Then I see one box we have in primer, so I gotta pick it in. I figured we might as well get everything that I can think of out of here that we can't repair. Like, I know we can't repair the driver seat or anything like that. We can't repair seats in this manner. So all that stuff's gonna have to come out, and we'll just replace it with some good seats, some good material. Hopefully we have enough, but to send out so we can get it all upholstered. I should say re-upholstered, but it won't take too long after that, because then once we get the seat and the levers and make sure everything's good with the drivetrain coming from where the motor would be, then we're going to be doing good. So now we just gotta work on everything else. Alright, so it looks like we got the escape hatch, the outside like ring of it painted. Now we just gotta get the actual cover painted, and then it looks like we're missing a few ammo boxes here and there. We'll have to buy some of them, which that's not gonna be too much of a problem. Only missing, like, you know, one of the small ones that you see, and then a bigger one, but that's okay. I think once we get it all repaired and all that, I think we'll just start up the motor. Make sure it runs, actually. If it actually runs, then we're doing good. But, yeah, I don't think it's going to take us too much longer. Then, pretty soon, we're going to be working on the turret, and then the motor. But I'd probably save the motors for last, it seems like. I don't know. Hopefully we can get it done. We don't have to send a lot of parts out to, you know, get them repaired and then ship back. Hopefully we don't have that many on the motor. I don't think we will, though. Alright, so all we got left, we got the turret inside of it finished. Like, we got commander seat to finish. Then we got a lot of other, like, little stuff, like around little wires here or there, you know, make everything functional. But I mean, if that's the only thing we really gotta put in is a few odds and ends, then we're doing pretty good, I think. We'll have to put, like, tank tracks and all the other stuff on for the rest of, like, the hull and that, but besides that, the hull is finished. This turret will be finished once we get, like, the seat cleaned. We got a few odds and ends I think we gotta put on. We got on a few wires here and there. They were somehow cut and never put back together the way they were supposed to be. So we'll put them back together the way they were supposed to be. After that, turret will be pretty much done. Didn't have to buy any real major parts, so that's pretty good. Alright, so we only got a few things left to put together. We have pretty much everything together, I would assume. I mean, everything's going well. We got turret pretty much finished, besides one more thing to finish up, then that will be good. Other than that, we are doing pretty good. all we would have to do is repair a few things, I guess. Like the gun sight and all that, because that's broke. But besides replacing that, or rebuilding it if we can, or anything, I don't know what we can do with it, but just that and elevation, we gotta fix those two things. Once we fix those two things, then we can finish the wiring, and then put a wiring box in, then it'll be done. Then after that, it's on to like the motor. Then after the motor, then we'll put the tracks on, then motor. I'm not sure. I haven't figured it out yet, which one I want to do. I think we'll rebuild the outside, put all the stuff together, then put the motor in. That should work pretty good. Okay, so now we got pretty much everything good. Got the electric box in. Got everything basically done. I don't see anything else left for the turret to be redone. So the turret's now done. The biggest problem's pretty much been solved, it looks like. Then all we got left after this is just to put the turret back on the tank. Then after we get the turret on, be time to work on the old motor over there. Hopefully we can build it pretty good. If we're gonna build it as fast as we rebuilt the turret, I don't see any problems. Hopefully we can, but I have no idea. Like, I need to get the turret done, it seems like. That was our biggest trouble, which is now done, so. Put that back on. Walk over, put the motor on. Or, work on the motor. I think there's only a few things we're gonna have to replace, like a few belts maybe, or something like that, but. If that is the case, then we gotta replace a few motors. I mean, I'll take those all day long, you know. And we might be missing a few things off of the motor, like I said, but I didn't get a close look at it. I just got a quick look. But it's pretty much together. That was the surprising part. I mean, yeah, it's probably missing a few like things for the air filter box that goes to it. But other than that, it's pretty much together, which was kind of shocking. Bit rusty. So we'll have to, you know, sandblast it. But other than that, it looks pretty good. So hopefully that's the case. Alright, so we got pretty much all that together. I think we'll have to I think we're missing a few things on the hull itself. A few odds and ends. And then we'll have to try attaching all the tracks. But that's going to be like the main part, is getting the tracks and all that attached. Because then, once we rebuild the motor, then it's just pretty much done at that point. Put fluids in it, you know. Try to run the motor. I think we can get it to start though. Shouldn't cost too much actually for fluids. But the only thing we got left really to do is fix what we see that's wrong, or try to, you know, sandblast it all. Pretty much like we did with the hull. We're just gonna try to, like, rust blast as much as we can. Blast the rust right off. Then sandblast it. Then primer it, then paint it, I think. But the motor we're not gonna paint. I don't think originally any of these motors were ever painted, which kind of a good thing. But we will get it. We'll get it, the rust all knocked off of it. Then we'll get it sandblasted. I mean, that's all we gotta do for this motor. And attach a few odds and ends. Same thing like we do to the hull and everything else. But, I mean, if we're only missing a few odds and ends, that's not too bad. The green scheme of things, I've never had the opportunity to work on a tank where pretty much all the components to put the tracks on are there. On one side at least. Usually when we work on them, there's like usually only one wheel or one section of track or something weird like that, but never like this. I've never seen it like this. Don't really gotta add too much to it to make it really ready to put tracks back on. Then it'll be ready to roll. Because all we gotta do is then put the motor back in. Motor just needs a good clean refresher. I mean, I happened to look at it, it just need to be cleaned up mainly. Just knock the rust off, sandblast it, and we'll see what's wrong with it after that. But besides the hose, I think from the where it goes to the carburetor down to the air filter, that hose was the only thing missing. Where it goes from there to the airbox. Might have been another part too, but other than that, motor's ready to pretty much go. That's what it looked like to me anyway. Alright, so that went pretty good. All we gotta do is put the idler wheel back on, and then after we put that on, we should be able to put the rest of the tracks on. So I think we'll be able to get it together pretty quickly. Because all we gotta do is get the exhaust, get the tow cable that has to go up on the top back on. And once all that gets done, this is pretty much done on the back. Then we just gotta work it forward on the front side of the tank, which we should be able to get most of the parts pretty easy. I'm hoping it doesn't cost us a lot of money to get an exhaust, because I didn't have one when it came in. Didn't have that. Had the tow cable. Don't know if it had... Yeah, it didn't really have that much. On the one side, all it was missing was an idler wheel, so I mean, that's not too bad. Then we'll just buy the tracks, get the tracks on. I mean, that shouldn't take too long. Okay, so pretty much we got P-belts put in, which we thought. Besides that, the motor's intact, which is good. We just have to put the tracks on first, because I figured we're going to need to do that. So let's get those on. Once we get the tracks on, then we're going to have to go inside. I got to replace a couple pulleys, or a pulley I should say, a fuel line, and maybe a line that goes between both radiators, or coolant tanks. But besides that, there shouldn't be much. I mean, might be a bracket here or there that needs to, you know, that I gotta pull up because I can't do anything about it. Send it off, get repaired, and bring it, you know, get it brought back and then get it installed. But other than that, I mean, it's going pretty good. All we got pretty much left to do is tracks, which we're doing now. Finish the motor on the inside. Install the belts, and then after that, be pretty much done. Okay, so that side of tracks is now complete. Move on to the other side, get those. Get that little toolbox on the outside there to get, but I think we're just gonna have to buy one of those. I don't have one. I don't know what else I'm gonna need, but I know I'm gonna need probably more tracks for the other side. Probably something else. Who knows? But this side's all together, at least. So, we'll get it all together. It just takes time. Buying a lot of parts. But we'll get it back together. I mean, it's pretty much back together on this side, the other side. Missing a few parts here and there. Put those on, then it's good to go. Alright, so we got the tracks together. Well, I mean, everything's together. So we just gotta get the jack installed, or buy one, or I don't remember if it came with one. Once that gets installed, I think we got a few tracks installed too. I think one more of those, but then the rest will be installed. Cause the other side's on, then we just gotta put this side on. Then it's good to go. Put the motor in, put the dirt back on. be a runnable tank, which will be pretty cool. Okay, so the front track piece is on. So now the tracks are fully on once we get these two pins in. After that, we should be able to buy a jack, put the jack on, and then after that, potentially put the turret back on. Then after that, we'll work on the motor. That should take a couple minutes. Only missing a few belts here and there. I mean, they're bad, but other than that, we're doing pretty good. So hopefully it doesn't take too long. It shouldn't. Next couple minutes, the motor will be pretty much rebuilt. All we gotta do is put a pulley in here, inside the motor compartment, and then that pretty much will be good. Then we can just sew the belts onto that and slip the whole motor in as one. Be on our way. Alright, so we got everything back together there. Traction now fully complete. We'll get the jack bought here in just a few seconds. Put the jack back on because it did not come with one, but we will put it on. Then after that, we're off to the motor. Tear the bad belts off, sandblast it, and, you know, give it a good once over. I think it won't be that bad, but you never know. I could be wrong. So we got pretty much all the tracks and all that installed. Now I'm gonna go inside and make sure I've got everything, you know, get all the rust off of it, make sure everything's okay before I put the turret back on. I want to doubly make sure everything's a-okay good. Had to remove the seats because we're gonna have to outsource the repairs, and the levers were pretty damaged, so we're just gonna outsource repair those as well. But the transmission and all that looked good. The drive shaft looks good for connecting that, so all of that is good. I'm only missing like a few, you know, ammo containers. That's about really all we're missing, I believe. I might have to get the instrument panel redone too. Outsource that because I don't have the schematics nor the time to try. So we'll just outsource the repairs, get it done. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but I'm hoping in this case we can get them repaired. But other than, you know, making sure all that's done, it looks good otherwise. So be done hopefully in a few minutes with this part, and then we can move on to the motor. Once we get to the motor, all we got left to do is get all the rust off of it, sandblast it, and remove the belts, and replace a few things for the air filter box, I believe. That's what we were missing, is just a few parts there. I know what parts they are. All I have to do is buy those, and then that will be done, then the motor can be put back in. Then hopefully we can fire it up. Okay, so we're missing air pipe B and A, I believe. Those are the only two things we need really for this motor besides the belts, which I have. Once we get all that put back together, we're going to be putting a pulley inside the tank which connects to the, you know, fans and all that. Once I get that together, then we'll be able to slap the belts on the motor, and then we'll put the belts back on and then put the motor in. Hopefully that goes well. Then we can put coolant, fuel, oil, put everything back together, and then put the motor back in it, put the turret back on, give it a test fire to see if it fires up. I don't know if it will, but I hope it runs. I can't wait to see if it does, but we're only a couple parts away to see if that will actually happen. So after we get this, then we do that. Hopefully she fires. Okay, so we got the pulley. We got it bought. We just gotta put it in. Then got a few lines down there that I gotta get, and one mount that I cannot repair, so I have to pull it out, unfortunately. Then we'll put it back together. Won't take long to repair the line and the mount. Take them about a couple minutes, they said, so that's good. Once we get that done, then the only thing we have to worry about is this pulley, which we'll have to buy a new one, of course, because, you know, once we buy the pulley, once we get the pulley in, I'll make sure to put the belts on, and then this motor will slide. The belts that we put on the motor will slide right in here, easy, and then put the mount back on, and of course the line. It'll be ready to roll within a couple minutes. Okay, so we got pretty much everything bought. We just gotta install it. We just gotta put a few lockers, fire extinguisher, stuff like that back in. Then a couple ammo boxes where you would store ammunition. Other than that, it's pretty much ready to go. We got the seats installed. We have the levers installed. I think we're missing only a coolant line, maybe. I think that'd be the only thing that'd be missing at this point. That'd be on the passenger side, but other than that, everything's there. At least it runs, almost. It's almost like ready to turn the key, try it, and see if it will run. I hope it does, but, you know, all we gotta do is I just decided to put the stuff inside before we put the turret back on, because it makes it easy. Okay, so now we're gonna put the mount back, the fuel line. We got the water line back in place, or the coolant line, whatever you want to call it. That's installed. Now we just gotta put the fuel hose and the mount back in. After that, everything's pretty much ready to go. Put the motor together, or finish it up, and then it's ready to go. Okay, so we gotta put the engine hatch back, or the hatch for the engine back on. Then we gotta put the radiator cap back on. We'll make sure like we didn't miss anything like pedals or any gears, or you know, something little, because we always miss something. Alright, so we got radiator cap back on. Now we gotta get the fuel caps back on. Then once we get all that put back on, we gotta make sure we get everything back in here together before I even finish the motor. That's the plan. And then we'll put the turret on top. But everything in the turret's ready to go. The turret's finished. Like, I'm waiting to get everything internally done with, like, you know, radiators and all the caps and all that type of stuff. Then once we put the turret back on, dump the motor in, see if it runs, because I'm hoping that it runs once it's, you know, been rebuilt. Because I'm just hoping that I can get it to run the way that I want it, where it's not going to be, you know, idling too high or idling too low. I hope not, but you never know. It can either idle really, really high or really, really low. And I'm hoping that I can find the sweet spot, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, so we got everything repaired. We got everything added. Now what we gotta do is add some antifreeze, motor oil, and coolant. Make sure everything's good there. And, I mean, there might be a few odds and ends that I forgot to put back on, but I double checked the interior stuff inside the main portion of the tank is good. Like, it's all solid now. Everything on the outside is repaired, except for the exhaust that I had to add. But, got the exhaust on, so that's now repaired. I think, besides adding the fluids, we should See if we can turn it over, get this old motor running. 'Cause I would love to see it run. That'd be pretty interesting, I bet, because I would like to thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoy and have a good day, and I'll see you on the next one.